what do you say? What you're doing? I am working in so and so ABC company, XYZ company. I am working. That is what we say. But when you say about the armed forces, we never use that word. I am working. I am serving. By and large, there are two types of entry. One is you finish your 12th standard and join the armed forces. Otherwise, you finish some graduation and join the armed forces. Not to follow the crowd, not to follow the herd. You show your uniqueness, give a chance to everyone, you'll be able to make it. These criteria might change as per the policy of the government. As of now, 19 years to 25 years, the age eligibility criteria for joining OTA. For joining an armed forces, a student has to have a multi-dimensional personality. Likewise, if you are there from the school in the SSB, definitely you will be an officer. Do you know, one country handed over 90,000 prisoners of war. I'm not talking about 100,000, 5,000, 90,000 plus prisoners of war. That is India.
Hi, hello everyone. This is one of the important Karkai talks, I would say. After hearing from students about the feedback from the previous talks, we have come up with a new thing. That too, after Operation Sindoor and after what is happening in the world, we are coming up with this talk from one of my respectable friend and a senior and a brother, Mr. Mathan. Thank you, Mathan, for joining us, joining Ilayya Thalaimurai and spending your time with us. It's going to be super useful for the students. And I'm so excited to have this conversation with you.
Jai Hind and good morning. Thank you, Raghu, for having me here. And I really appreciate your warm welcome. Thank you so much. And Anivarukkum Manakam. So, yes, as Raghu told, he has been a long-time friend, a younger brother, and a nice colleague for me in my previous organization and from now also. So, thank you so much, Raghu. Nice of you.
Thank you, Na. So, without waiting, I'm going to ask this bullet questions to you, Na. So,
Please.
Tell us your life journey from a student or student you have been a commander, lieutenant commander, you've become a corporate professional. So, how was your life from school to college and joining armed forces? And how did you get interest in armed forces? So, throw some light on each and every stage of your life and walk us through your life and journey so far.
Sure, Raghu. Thank you so much for asking this. I started my life as a student like any of you in a normal school. I I finished my 12th standard, then I finished my diploma electronics and communication, then I did my BE electronics communication engineering. After my electronics communication engineering, I joined Indian Navy. So my joining in Indian Navy was through Service Selection Board. I got commissioned as an Indian Navy officer in the naval aviation. That is, I was an aircraft technical officer. So after joining Indian Navy, I did my MTech in aeronautical engineering. And then so far I have done MBA in operations management also. And right now I am, after finishing my 10 years of short service career in Indian Navy as an aircraft technical officer, right now I am AVP in JP Morgan Chase. So in a brief, this is my whole career all about since my student days.
Awesome, now. Thank you. So, what made you inspired to join now?
So first of all, even before I got to know about that thought, okay, fine, why don't I join Indian Army, Navy, Air Force? Before getting into those thoughts in my mind, when I was a kid itself, my father got me into the sports, games, karate, speech competition, debate in both English and Tamil. So I went through all these things. So all these things, when I am getting into debate, I speak to a person, I develop my personality, I learn from him, and speaking in front of such a huge audience, it will teach me a lot. Now, getting into karate, you get into the fighting mode, aggressive mode, to save something, to save someone who is near and dear to you, to save yourself. So that karate. So all these things, I can say it is an evolution. And after this, in this evolution, when I joined the college, and that is when the Kargil started. Kargil war was there, and that we used to keep hearing. That time only we had we never had access to the smartphone, and we all used to sit in front of the TV when we were in hostel. We used to keep watching the Kargil news, how our Indian Army is doing, what is the part of what is the role of Indian Navy in that, what Indian Air Force is doing. When I keep hearing, then I also got to know about something called as university entry scheme. That is when that trigger came in my mind. I felt triggered. Okay, fine. So why don't we also think on those lines? Then I spoke with my parents. My father told, okay, please go ahead. And that is where it all started. And then I started following up with the various announcement of call for from Army, Navy, Air Force. So I applied, and thankfully, with all the support from the ecosystem what we had since my school days and whatever the personality, it helped me to evolve. That got me placed in Indian Navy, got me selected in Indian Navy in my first attempt. So that is how I got into Indian Navy, Raghu.
Oh, awesome. Na. So that too in the first attempt, you should be really, really aspirational and hardworking, I guess.
Thanks, Raghu. Thank you.
And of course, you are talented, that I know. So tell us something about our Indian Armed Forces now.
Okay, when you are speaking about the Indian Armed Forces, first of all, I want to say something interesting. Now, today, the world has been witnessing Russia-Ukraine war, for the past more than 3 years. Now, in addition, the Gaza war is also happening for more than 1.5 years, which is being between the Israel, Palestine, and a lot of other organizations. So, as a part of various treaties, agreements, these warring countries, they exchange the prisoners of war. Okay, I have arrested 1,000 people of yours. I will give 300. Now you also give me my 300 men. Like that, they keep exchanging. But do you know, one country handed over 90,000 prisoners of war. I'm not talking about 100,000, 5,000, 90,000 plus prisoners of war. That is India. That is in 1971. The war between India and Pakistan for the creation, which ultimately led to the creation of Bangladesh. That time, our Indian army captured 90,000 Pakistani army people as a prisoners of war. They were in various camps all across India, and after certain time, that is close to 3 years, we handed over to them. That is the mightiness, benevolence, and bravery of Indian armed forces. Since independence, in all wars which India fought, our country has displayed an extreme courage, resilience, and restraint. When I say all wars, now you all will be thinking about the Operation Sindhu. Till Sindhu, we know what kind of power we projected and what kind of restraint we exhibited. That is the Indian Armed Forces. Now, you are saying Indian Armed Forces war. It is not only about war. Indian Armed Forces have shown in each and every field, I can tell you. You know, we all know, the first Indian to reach the space was Wing Commander Rakesh Sharma. Otherwise, also, we have our army officer who was also a sports minister and honorable member of parliament, Lieutenant Colonel Rajyavardhani Singh Rathod, who became the first Indian post independence to win an Indian individual silver at the Olympics, where he stood on the podium for the men's double trap shooting at Athens in 2004. Then we had Subedar Major Vijay Kumar, who is again an Indian Army. He won the silver medal in 25-meter rapid fire pistol event in 2012. Then we have Neeraj Chopra, two times Olympics medal winner, gold medal and silver medal under the aegis of Indian Army. So there we have sports. Other than that, we have Commander Dilip Donde, Commander Avilash Tomi, who are all the solo global circumnavigators. And we also have all women global circumnavigation team, in which six lady navy officers who went around the world in INSV Tharini. So we have lot of people who brought the Lawrence, who brought pride to the country. Now, sports is there. Other than the sports, Indian Army, Navy, Air Force, or Indian Armed Forces on a whole, we have cutting edge weapons, state of art cyber security, top notch surveillance mechanism, data centers, autonomous, what not. We are actually in the top of the world when it comes to the scientific advancements also. So that is the kind of ecosystem what we have. Indian armed forces have cultivated, nurtured, and evolved throughout since so many decades since independence. So that is what an armed force is all about, Raku.
Oh, very inspiring. Na. I got goosebumps when you talked about some of these. Really inspiring. I mean, like I salute all of you. And whenever I get to talk to armed forces, that too when I was in IHS market, I got admired by the service that you have done, and that's how our friendship started, right? I have a lot of respect, immense respect towards all of you. So hats off to you all and to your family too. So without them, nothing is possible, I would say. So
Thanks, Raku.
give us an idea.
Thank
So
you.
when, yeah. So when I touched the point of the family, I just wanted to ask you the following question, which is, give us an idea about life of an armed officer.
Okay. So, okay. Now, when you say I will also touch one point when you see the life of the armed forces. I will touch one thing. Generally, what do you say? What you're doing? I am working in so and so ABC company, XYZ company. I am working. That is what we say. But when you say about the armed forces, we never use that word. I am working. I am serving, because we say army or navy or air force, this is a part of life, or this is a life. It is a life of honor, respect and privilege, and we call it as a life. We don't say as we work, but we say we serve. That is the life. In an armed forces, when you say what is a life, it is all about the physical fitness. There are a lot of adventure activities. I can say I'm talking about other than what you are actually doing. You are fighting, you are working on the machines, you are working for the logistics. Other than all these activities, we also have adventure activities. Let us say, to say it, paragliding, white river rafting, snake handling, camel riding, horse riding, diving, snorkeling, musketry. You have a lot of activities. You have sports, you have foreign appointments, ceremonial appointments. You would have seen our AD coach standing next to the governor, next to the president, right? So it is I will not say it is one of the, but it is the most dynamic life one can ever have in armed forces. Other than that, your family is also having free quarters, subsidized education, free medical facilities. Your family is supported by the system which has been designed specifically in such a way that even the armed forces, when even the officer is away from the family, his family is taken care full fledged. That is the life of the armed forces, Raghu.
Oh, great, na. Thanks for throwing those insights and shades of what it is and what takes their journey ahead. Because from outside world, what we think is that they're all there standing in the fence, saving us, etc., etc. This was super helpful. Uh, Having said that, as a student, I was part of I have been a volunteer from my childhood, from my school days, but I was part of Junior Red Cross and part of many other service oriented, internal focused, not into the NSS and things like that. But I was not exposed to this, armed forces to the level of to become or to aspire to get into the armed forces, right? It came later part of my life. So help me understand how to get into armed forces, be it Army, Navy, or Air Force. Give us idea about it.
Okay, that's a good question, Raghu. So now, when you say Army, Navy, Air Force, I will say when you, if you aspire to get into Army, Navy, Air Force, I will say there are three major categories. Major categories means one is officer entry, second is PBOR, personal below officer rank. Who are they? In Army, they are called as Jawans. In Air Force, airmen. In Navy, sailors. And then next, the third category is Agniveer, the policy which was introduced by our government few years back, 3 to 4 years back. So now we will speak about the entry schemes or the entry process and channels for the officer in Army, Navy, and Air Force. Okay, right. So when we speak about the Army, again there are two types of entry. By and large, there are two types of entry. One is you finish your 12th standard and join the armed forces. Otherwise, you finish some graduation and join the armed forces. Now, when you are finishing the 12th standard, you have to join the armed forces through NDA. NDA is National Defense Academy. The National Defense Academy, this is located in Pune. Here, every year, approximately 320 vacancies will be there. And once a candidate, he has finished the 12th standard, I'm saying 12th standard in the school, and between the 16 and off to 19 and off years of age, he is eligible for joining the armed forces through NDA. So here, if you look at, if one keeps tracking the UPSC online UPSC website, you will keep getting the call for this SSB dates. You appear there, you appear in the exam and the physical test conducted by the UPSC for the NDA. Once you're selected, you join NDA. Once when you join NDA, you have to be in NDA for 3 years. After the 3 years at National Defense Academy in Pune, you join either Army or Navy or Air Force. It all have a distinct number of vacancies. Approximately 200 plus for the Army, 70 to 80 for the Air Force, 40 plus for the Navy. So with these vacancies, based on the merit, you will be able to join these three forces through NDA. Now this is one. And another, there are also other entries which are specific to the other forces. That is Indian Naval Academy is there. Indian Naval Academy, it is called as it is INA Edimala. Edimala is in Kerala. Here also, by finishing the 12th standard, the cadets, you become the cadet. By finishing the 12th standard, you appear through the test, and afterwards you join there as a cadet, and then you finish 3 years in Edimala and you become an officer. So this is what I told you right now is a 12th standard candidate entry into the armed forces. Now, how about the degree holder? Again, we have the armed forces entry for the graduates also. Now, how about that? Now, when you look at that, we have entry that is to the IMA. In IMA, there are again vacancies are 200 per year. So, what is the criteria? There, you have to be a graduate, you have to be unmarried, you apply as per the IMA call for, then you join the IMA, then you have that 1.5 years of training there, then you become an officer. This is for the technical entry. Again, OTA is there. OTA is Officers Training Academy. It is located in Chennai. Now, in Chennai also, the candidates intake happens. That is, after finishing the graduation, again, he should be, again, when I am saying the age eligibility criteria, please remember that this criteria might change as per the policy of the government. As of now, 19 years to 25 years, the age eligibility criteria for joining OTA, that is Officers Training Academy, as I told you. Then, once you have to apply online in the UPSC website, you have to be unmarried. Once you're selected, you have to undergo 49 weeks of training in OTA Chennai. So these are the entries for the Indian Army. Now, otherwise also in Indian Army, so overall I can say one is through the NDA for the 12th standard, another is through the IMA which is in Dehradun for the graduate, and another channel is through the OTA, Officers Training Academy, Chennai. So these are the ways or the channels one joins the Indian Army. Now, when it comes to Indian Navy, again I told you INS Erimala. There also we have the graduate entry, and in that graduate entry, if you look at, there is something called as INET, Indian Navy Entrance Test. Using this INET, the graduate, the one who has graduated from the college as in the recognized university, he appears a test and then he clears that exam, INET exam. Then he is called for the SSB, Service Selection Board. And in the Service Selection Board, which we will discuss later what happens in the Service Selection Board, he will undergo a series of tests and evaluation. Then he joins the Indian Naval Academy, Edimala. This is for the Indian Navy entrance. Now, talking about the Indian Air Force. Okay, one more thing I would like to tell you. You have that university entry scheme also. In the university entry scheme, you have the armed forces team comes to the college and it interviews the students. The student has to be the final year of engineering. Final year of engineering with the 60% aggregate, and the candidates with backlog will not be permitted. Now, once the student is selected, after the graduation is completed, he will be called for the armed forces basic training, and then he or she will become an officer. So this is called as a university entry scheme. Now I told you about the Indian Navy. Now next is the Indian Air Force. In the Indian Air Force, you have Air Force Academy in Dundigal. So here again, there is a 10 plus 2 entry also, and then the graduation entry also. For the graduates, you have something called as, like I told you, INET for the Indian Navy, Indian Navy entrance test. Now for the Indian Air Force, you have AFCAT, AFCAT they call it as Air Force Common Admission Test. Here, the top 4 percentile will be selected and they will be called for the SSB. Now, keeping all these things aside, then there is something called as CDS, Combined Defense Services. This Combined Defense Services, again, the call for is from the UPSC, Union Public Service Commission. This is for all the 3 services. It is one of the most tough exam in the country. Whoever is graduating from here, whoever is clearing this CDS, Combined Defense Services exam, then they will be going through the SSB, and then they will be joining either Indian Air Force Academy or Navy Academy or IMA, Indian Military Academy. So these are the various entries of Army, Navy, and Air Force. So saying so, we also have Indian Coast Guard. They, other than this Army, Navy, Air Force, people don't have that much awareness on the other services. That is, we have Indian Coast Guard, and again we have the Border Security Force. They are all called as a paramilitary forces. Border Security Force, Assam Rifles, CISF Central Industrial Security Force, Indo-Tibetan Border Force, National Security Guard, and Shastra Seema Bal. So, with the evolving policies of the central government based on the security situation of the country, these forces undergo a lot of changes in terms of the absorption and in terms of the expansion and recruitment. Okay.
Very, very insightful, na. Thank you for sharing all of this. That makes me curious. Help us understand. Help our students understand what is the service selection procedure. You have given the snippets of it in our previous questions, so help us deep dive into it.
Okay. So, for a student, I will tell you, please allow me to start from the basic. For joining an armed forces, a student has to have a multi-dimensional personality. What is a multi-dimensional personality? That is, a student has to be physically fit and also mentally agile. A physical fitness comes through the regular exercises. One thing I will tell you, armed forces don't expect a marathoner. It doesn't expect you to run for 30 kilometers or 40 kilometers. It looks for a basic fitness. Basic fitness means, let's say, 1 mile or half a kilometer at least, you should be able to run. You should be able to take some 10 push ups. It's a basic fitness I'm talking about. That is one. Second, a student, I really wish a student should take part in a lot of activities which hone his leadership skills, personality development skills. That is, you join in a speech competition, you join in a debate competition, you can participate in an inter-college competition. It really doesn't matter whether you're winning or losing in the competition, but it matters that you are participating. When you participate, you will feel a change in your personality, a change in your confidence level, a change in your attitude while you deal with the people. And that mental and physical design, it will help you to sail through the armed forces entry. Now, okay, fine. So these are all the requisites in the school age and the college age. Yes, fine. So now what happens once you are applying for the armed forces entry? You will think in your mind. So the moment you apply, you will be called for the examinations, whatever I mentioned for the Army, Navy, and Air Force. Cool. After that, once you are clearing one particular level, that is the criteria set by that particular forces as per the ministry guidelines. Once you are through with that exam, then you will be called for the SSB, Service Selection Board. There are a lot of activities that happens in SSB, and once you are through in all the SSB activities, which again subsequently I will explain what happens in the SSB. Once that SSB activities you are through, then again you have to stay there for 1 more week. There you have to undergo the medical examination. Once the medical examination, that will which will go for close to 1 week, top to bottom, a candidate will be medically examined, and once you are done with the medical examination, then you will be sent a letter for joining the academies for your basic training. Okay, so this is how the it happens.
Anna, thank you for sharing about the SSB. Now that you have talked about SSB, help our students understand what it takes and how it is after that.
Okay, great. Thanks, Raghu, for asking this question. So, when you speak about SSB, it is a activity in which for the day one. So you will be given you will be getting a call for letter, and with that letter, wherever the Army, Navy, that SSB centers will be there. For example, SSB center is in Bhopal, Coimbatore, Bangalore, and it has Gaya. Lot of places are there. Okay, so when you go there on the day one, they will take all your certificates. They will that screening round will happen in which all your certificates will be examined, all your address will be examined, all this information will be examined, and then the day one will be totally for the screening only. You don't have any activity other than the screening. Basically, they will see whether the candidate is a right person, whether they have the right credential and the right documentation. That is what the only thing that will happen in the day one. And before that, I will also tell you, when you are traveling to the place where the SSB is located, the journey, the to and fro journey, that cost will be borne by the Indian Navy or Army or Navy, for whomever the SSB is held, they will bear the cost. Okay, so from the journey, from when you start for the SSB till you finish the SSB, all the costs, that is the travel, the boarding, lodging, everything, all the costs are borne by the service selection board only. Okay, so fine. Now you went there. They say you please come there at afternoon 12 o'clock. Even if you're going at 11 o'clock or 11:45, also they will not allow you. Exactly at 12 o'clock, they will allow you to go inside. Once the screening is, once you go inside, then you all will be assembled in a hall where all your certificates, when I say certificates, all your original certificates will be checked, validated, verified for its credentials. For you as a person, you will be checked, and your address will be verified. Everything in total, it will be checked and verified. Okay, so that is the day one. Then the day two, the tests will be held. There will be a lot of tests will be there. TAD, they say the thematic perception test, word association test, situation reaction test, self description test. In the self description test, you will tell about you. In the situation reaction test, you will be given a situation, and you will be asked, okay, if this is a situation, how you will react. Then there is a group discussion. In the group discussion, they will give you a topic, and you all will be expected to discuss it as a group. And during all these activities, they will be observing you, means the SSB officers will be observing you, how you react, how you are as a team person. It's not like, okay, I am the person, I am the only one, I will be speaking, I will not allow anyone. No, how you are as a team, how is your leadership quality, how you give space for others, how you are empathetic, and how you are expressing yourself. Each and every quality of yours will be examined. That is a day two. And at the end of the day two, you all will be assembling on a ground in which the selection will be announced. Selection means not for the services selection, but for the third round. Rest all have to move out. On an average, let us say some 150 people are there. Out of 150 candidates, roughly 30 candidates, 30 plus candidates will be moving for the second round. Rest all will be told to move out. So these 30 candidates, they will stay there for close to a week. Lot of activities will happen. Again, the same group discussion, group planning exercise, progressive group task. You will be given a task to perform. Okay, guys, you are 30 in number. They will be dividing you into 10, 10, 10. All the 10, each and every 10 will be given a group task, and all the 10 will join and they have to progress. And then a half group task will be there. It's not 10, it will be 4 or 5. Then there'll be individual obstacles. You will be given an obstacles, lot of obstacles will be there. You have to climb a ladder, you have to jump, you have to swing on a rope. Lot of activities will be there. At least 15 activities will be there. You all have to finish in 3 minutes or 4 minutes as told by the SSB officer. Then there will be a group obstacle. Your individual obstacles you are doing well, but as a group, how you are performing, that you have to show your, how the way you are collaborating with a group, and you have to show your camaraderie and team spirit as a group. So the group obstacles will be there. Then you will be given a command task. That means you are the commander. Three people will be under you. You have to tell them to do the task. How you are as a commander, how you are as a leader. Your leadership skills will be tested there. And again, there will be something called as lecture it. Then extempore will be there. In these tasks, you will be given a topic. You will be told to speak. The topic will be on the spot. On the spot means the moment the previous person starts speaking, let us say for 3 minutes, exactly in the 3 minutes, you will be given the topic. You have to select a random topic, and only the 3 minutes will be the time for you to prepare and be ready for the next talk which you will be delivering. Group discussion will be there. You'll be given a different scenarios, and you will be asked to say or asked to discuss about a particular topic. That is always there. And again, as I told in the beginning, group planning exercises. Okay, if this is a situation, let us say there is a there will be a mock table setup will be there, in which camp, hospital, forest, mountain, everything will be there. Okay, here there is a terrorist, and you have to plan how you will plan to neutralize the terrorist. They will test how you are understanding and how you're approaching it. So these are all the kind of activities that will happen for close to 1 week. And in that 1 week, you will be evaluated, graded, and at the end of the week, the one who has crossed that criteria of their settings, they will be moving to the medical round. Medical round is nothing but you will be going to that hospital. There the complete checkup will happen. Again, that also will happen for 4 to 5 days. Each and every day, different specialist, different checkups, and at the end of the day, you will be told. Means then afterwards, based on all the medical tests and examination, they will be sending that result to you, because after the medical checkup, they will not announce any result, but you will be told to go home. With that results, then there will be one more discussion, and based on the results of that particular candidate, he or she will be receiving the call for letter. So then you have to join the academy. So this is the overall process that happens in the service selection board, Raghu.
Got it, got it, got it. This is great, na. This was very helpful. But yeah, so since you have told about the procedure, I'm so curious about how did you feel? How was your experience? And share how the life in academy, how it will look like.
Life in academy. In the academy, it is a totally different world altogether, Raghu. Training academy is a different world altogether, where you will be, I will say it will be totally isolated from the outside city world, and you are there in the academy. You are there for 6 months, and there you are there, and your life is all about your seniors, your divisional officer, your departmental officer, and the regimented life. Once you join the academy, for the next 15 days, they will give you something called as honeymoon period. In that honeymoon period, you will get to know about what exactly you should expect from that academy, how your life will be, and in that 15 days, you should gauge that whether I will be able to sustain here or not. So if you say that no, it is very difficult for me, means they will tell you thank you, bye bye. But once you are saying that 15 days is over, then once you have taken a decision that yes, I am there, then your life goes on. The training academy life start from morning 5 o'clock. Morning 5 o'clock, you will have PT, or you will have the drill. In the drill, where you will have a lot of exercises, or in the PT, you will have a lot of games you have to play, and you will be undergoing a lot of activities. And once that activities are over, you come back to your dorm. We call it as a dormitory. You fresh up yourself, wear the uniform. Again, you go to the training block. Here, the training is all about a mix of both physical and theoretical. We have English period, science period, maths period, physics period in the schools. But in the training academy, you will have a theoretical period, then it will be followed by the swimming. Once the theoretical period is done, then swimming, then again a theory class, then again a theory class, then you will go for another one drill, where you will be, there could be possibly a boxing training. Okay, so likewise it will be very dynamic. It is unlike a regular training institution. So you have to clear the exams, you have to read a lot of books, service subjects will be there, where you will be acquainted about the army, navy, air force, naval orientation, that how, what kind of, starting from the what kind of uniform to a lot of aspects. And again, the how, if you are in naval academy, you will be taught about ship. If you are in army, you will be taught about a battle tank. Likewise, training goes on. Now, if you ask me, I was a direct entry short service commission officer. When I say direct entry, I didn't go through the 3 years training of Naval Academy or National Defense Academy. I spent only 4 months in the Naval Academy. When I was in Naval Academy, it was in Goa. Now it has shifted to, I told you before, INS Erimala. That is in Erimala, that is in North Kerala. So I spent 4 months in academy. After spending 4 months, at the end of the 4 months training, we get commissioned as an officer. Then we move to our respective ships. But again, during that basic training, we were all given an option to opt for the naval aviation, which I opted based on various criteria. Few candidates were selected for the naval aviation, and I was one among them. So I directly went to the naval aviation. So this is how the training academy phase of me happened. That's all, Raghu.
Got it. Very, very insightful now. Very insightful. So, with that, let me move on to a question relatively before one of the favorite questions that many students have asked me to ask. what are the different groups of services? Now you mentioned about what where you got into, and also given some highlights about other groups and how they get selected. So once you got deployed, or once you are into something, so what are the different groups of services and how the officers are getting deployed into it? Would you be asked, will you be interested in going here or there, etc.? You could throw some light there.
Okay, that's a great question, Raghu. Thanks for that. So now there, it depends on in which scheme you are entering, Raghu. Okay, so like in army, if you see, the entry schemes are like this. That is, as I told you, a non-graduate entry schemes, men graduate under non-UPSC. That is, I told you, Union Public Service Commission called for the entry. Then there is a non-UPSC is there, that is called as SSC JAG. JAG is Judge Advocate General. They are into the lawyer, that is for legal services in the Indian Armed Forces. Then there is something called as SSC NCC. Someone is getting through the NCC cadre. Then there is entry scheme men, that is they call it as GTE, Graduate Technical Entry. There are two types of entry. One is Short Service Commission Officer Technical, another is Technical Graduate Entry, that is for the engineers. This is entry schemes men GTE. Then again entry schemes men GTE, we have the ACC, that is the Army Cadet College, that is in Dehradun. Then again there are miscellaneous entries also there, that is the Territorial Army IMA in IMA Dehradun. Then there is RVC, that is a veterinary cadre is there, that is in Meerut. So these are all the types of disciplines in the army. But once when you get into the army, again depending on which you want, again there are infantry, artillery. Then there are a lot of specializations are there. Depends on what you are getting through and based on the merit also. This is for the army. In Navy, you have executive cadre, then technical cadre, education cadre, medical cadre. When you say executive cadre, surface warfare, hydrography. Hydrography means they will keep examining the sea water. That is, to be very interesting, I will tell you. Let us say they will check for the water quality. That is, water quality means, is there any excess oil? If there is any excess oil means, then there was a submarine movement, then there was a ship movement. Okay, fine. Okay, it is an Indian naval ship crossed here, it is sailed here 2 days back, then it is fine. Oh, there is no sailing happened in this past 1 month, still there is some oil. So that means, is there any other suspicious movement? Likewise, they will keep examining the sea water. So that is hydrography. Then we have pilot, then we have air traffic control, then law, then naval air operations officer is there. That is, these are the officers who will be on board aircraft, and they will operate the multiple surveillance equipment like radar, sonar, all these things they'll be examining. Okay, then there is a logistics cadre, then NAIC is there, Naval Armament Inspection cadre. These all these cadre, they fall under the executive. And I just told, but there are still a lot. Okay, then there's a technical in which there is called as engineering electrical. In Navy, engineering means it is for the mechanical. Electrical means it is for the electrical, radio, electronics, all these things. Here they are deployed in shipyard as a naval constructor, then in the naval aviation, in ship, in submarine. Through, since they will be coming from the engineering background. Then there is something called as education cadre. In education cadre, they are basically for the training of the armed forces. Then medical, as the name says, they are into the healthcare. So these are the broad categories of the Indian Navy. Okay. Then when coming to the Indian Air Force, they have the flying branch. They have the flying branch, ground duty, technical, ground duty, non-technical, and then there is a PG ground duty. This is for the non-technical. So whatever the entries or whatever the specialization I told, these are the very broad categories. But the moment you get into the Army, Navy, or Air Force, you will find even more a lot of specialization and subspecialization. Okay.
Got it, Ma. This was really insightful. Thank you for that. Uh, Next, one of the most anticipated question that students have been waiting for. So this is after a lot of news, a lot of reading, a lot of empathy, a lot of stories. People got inspired to hear, learn more about the total talk show that we are having after Operation Sindoor. So many girl kids, students ask about armed forces. Can you share the life of women armed forces? Some tips for the girls, especially after seeing those two lady officers debriefing. It's personally, I felt touched being the father of two girls. So tell us more about it.
Yeah, it is definitely a great question, Raghu, and thank you for that. So we had a landmark judgment from the Supreme Court few years back for the permanent commission of the women officers. So because of this judgment and the policy change that was brought by the government, now the women are given permanent commission. That is a very important point. Now, like men, the women are equally representing the armed forces, and not only that, women are into the fighting branches also. When I say fighting, earlier you will find the women pilot in the surveillance and reconnaissance aircraft, in the transport aircraft. Now they are operating the fighter aircraft in the Indian Armed Forces, in the Indian Air Force. Fighter aircraft in the Indian Air Force, that is one. They are also commanding the ships, that is in Navy, and in the Army also they are deployed in the front line. There is absolutely no difference between a male and a female. They are treated equally, and it is a long awaited thing that is, I can say, as a highlighting moment of the Indian Armed Forces history, and they are really very strong, and they are performing. They are very powerful. One thing. Second, now we have got the girls batch. The first girls batch passed out in NDA. NDA also National Defense Academy. National Defense Academy, historically it is for the boys only. Now they have girls intake also have taken, and now recently the first batch of girls have passed out of National Defense Academy, who will be serving in the tri forces. So that means the women are marking each and everywhere. The women are making their mark in the armed forces without any discrimination between a boy or a girl, a man or a woman. So this is something which is very important, not only as an armed forces but as a country, I will say. Okay, so that is how it is.
Amazing, na. Amazing. Thanks for this info. So tell me about this now. I'm so curious, and I'm sure that many students have agreed with me on knowing about this as well. What are the additional skills a student has to have to be successful in armed force, and what student has to do to achieve it from school and college days? Your tips for the aspiring, students, and how to be successful as an armed force officer too.
So, I really recommend, earnestly urge each and every student not to wait for the age where you are completing the engineering or any graduation. From the student life, you should design yourself. You should take part in a lot of activities. I will say, first of all, education. That's very important. Study is very important, as you know. Along with the study, I will urge every student to take part in the school activities. School activity. There are a lot of club activities are there. The sports club, arts and science clubs. A lot of activities are there. The NCC is there. Games, PT. Please take part in a lot of activities. Please volunteer yourself. Don't say that, oh no, I don't know this. I'm not sure. People will laugh at me, or my friends will joke at me, or teachers may scold me if I go wrong. Don't think like that. Just give your best, and whatever happens, let it be so. First, activity A, you will be in this level. Activity B, you will be in this level. Activity C, you will be in the next level. Likewise, lot of you will be crossing each and every level, and at one point of time you will see, oh yeah, I am different than others. You will, by keep constantly evolving and evolving with a lot of activities which you participate. That is not only the sports games, but in all activities, you will find yourself as a personality. You will evolve and you will be different, and that difference is what expected to join in the armed forces. Okay, one. And once when you are there, as I told you, SSB is the gateway to enter the service, and in the SSB, the same character and the attitude as a personality you should continue. You have to think different. Okay, now I'm talking about the SSB. You please think different and take a lead. When something is told, you don't keep looking here and there. Okay, should I do it or shouldn't I do it? What others are doing? Don't think. You just take a lead. And while taking a lead, you show your leadership quality, and also You give a chance for everyone also. Don't see that, okay, I will be occupying everywhere, I will be dominating everywhere. No, you give a chance for others also. Likewise, if you are there from the school in the SSB, definitely you will be an officer. And in the SSB, I think I missed something which I also want to put up here. In the SSB, for the SSB, there are a lot of guides are there available, a lot of books are available. Okay, and all the books have a standard pattern. Okay, those books I will say that don't go exactly by the books, because books is, you can use the book what is expected out of you in the day one or day two or day three, but at the end of that, it is your personality, you what you are, that is what will define you to make or break. So that is very important. Okay, so from the school time, you nurture, cultivate that personality to involve in all the arena of your school, of your college. And when you are there in SSB, you see that you think different, and you show your uniqueness, not to follow the crowd, not to follow the herd. You show your uniqueness, give a chance to everyone, you'll be able to make it.
Amazing, ma. Amazing, ma. And yeah, so one of the other important question that this generation students ask about is, okay, I do see that the officers get into a retirement stage at one point in time. For someone, it is a little longer. For someone, it could be a little shorter. So for those students, help us understand how to build a career after services and what are the opportunities available out there.
So that's a great question, Raghu, because this is a point which each and everyone will think, oh, okay, what I will do after the armed forces? Once I hang my uniform, what is next? Like that question always there. As I told you, armed forces is just not about the guns and battle tank. Armed forces is about the technology that feeds all these things. You are you have your hands on the technology which is a top notch in the country, in the world. Okay, so once when you are there, once when you have that experience and hands on touch and understanding and learning about that technology, that means you are ready to meet anything in the outside world. Anything in the means, let us say, a cyber security, or to become as a defense analyst, or to become a project manager, or to become a supply chain manager in our country. Whatever the company you see, starting from Reliance, Adani Enterprises, Indus Towers, IBM, technology companies like IBM, Wipro, Infosys, companies like JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, you will have, I just told a few, but all the companies have armed forces officers and men also. Okay, and also when you are in the armed forces, there the armed forces gives you a lot of platforms. That is, you are given an opportunity to get into IIT and IISs also. You go there, finish your graduation, finish your post graduation, come back and join the armed forces. There you apply whatever the technology you learned, you come back and apply. This is so when you are passing out of the armed forces, it is not like you have served and you're coming out. You are given an option to enter into the world class elite institution like IIT, IIC also. You are coming out, you are an IIT postgraduate, IIT graduate, and you are coming out. That is one. And now government has implemented something called as PRC, pre-release course. Last few months will be given to an officer where he or she will join elite institution like IIMs, MDI, NMIMS in Mumbai. These institutions, you will have that 6 months course. In that 6 months course, you will be trained by the top professors to give you an understanding of the corporate environment, lot of specializations, and an opportunity for the interviews. So when you are coming out, you are there as a thorough gentleman, a disciplined officer, and a person ready to see the outside world. So that is how one is equipped and one is prepared. Yes.
This was very insightful. Now, thank you so much, Anna. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, and on behalf of all the students and all the viewers who will be watching in the future too. So, the knowledge that you have shared is very, very, very fruitful, and it will be of higher value for the students who aspire as well. Thank you so much for spending this time, and I'll leave you to give a short idea or your thoughts to the students and wishes for the team and volunteers of my organization. And with that, we can wrap the show.
Thank you so much, Raghu. As I told at the beginning, it is an opportunity for me which you gave. So I thank you so much for that, for this valuable opportunity, because knowledge will grow only when it is shared. Experience will grow only when it's shared, and you have given me the platform to share my knowledge and experience. Thank you very much for that. And I also wish all the students who are watching this to become a best officer of the country, serve the nation, and serve the country. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you.